Now we'll study Gauss theorem and its applications, which is one of the important topics of electrostatics, Gauss theorem and its applications. So, in very simple words, what Gauss said is this. He said that electric flux passing through any closed surface can be given as Q by epsilon naught. Q is charge, epsilon naught is the permittivity of free space. Or the formula is closed integral, not only integral, closed integration of electric field coming out of that surface. ds is the small surface out of which electric field is coming out. Therefore, there are two formulae for electric flux. One is Q by epsilon naught, another one is integration of EDS. Integration of EDS was already given before. Gauss told phi is Q by epsilon naught. This is actually Gauss theorem. But how many formulae for flux do you have? Two. One is Q by epsilon naught and one more is closed integration of EDS. Now coming to the application of Gauss theorem, the first application is of a charged sphere. Understand the question properly. We have to find electric field at a point outside a charged conducting sphere. I'll repeat. We have to find electric field at a point outside a charged conducting sphere. Means I have to find the notation. Now to get electric field at a point outside a charged conducting sphere, let me first take a charged conducting sphere. So look at this. So electric field into a charged conducting sphere is your first application. Now let me take a charged conducting sphere whose center is O, radius is capital letter R. Therefore, the sphere is positively charged, radius is R, center is O. And the total charge on the sphere, if I want to find out, you know surface charge density is Q by A, that is charge upon area. Therefore, I know Q is equal to sigma into A. Q is equal to sigma. What is the surface area of a sphere? Surface area of a sphere is 4 pi r square. Therefore, now if I want to find from Gauss theorem, we will do it over there. So, did you understand what is the charge on the sphere? Charge on the sphere is sigma into 4 pi r square. Now let me take a point P at a distance small letter r from the charge conducting sphere, because what is the question? I have to find electric field at a point outside a charge conducting sphere. So first I took a charge conducting sphere. Now I'll take a point P which is outside the charge conducting sphere and it is at a distance of small letter r. Now before using Gauss theorem, I have to assume that point P is a part of an imaginary sphere, because Gauss theorem deals only with closed surfaces, not open surfaces. Therefore, if I have to find electric field at this point and if I want to use Gauss theorem, I have to make sure that the point is a part of a closed surface. But point on its own is an open surface. Remember, point and a line are the best examples of open surface. Sphere, cylinder, pyramid are an example of closed surface. Now, if I want to find electric field at a point P, I cannot find using Gauss theorem until and unless it is a part of a closed surface. So what I do is I assume point P is a part of an imaginary sphere called the Gaussian sphere and it occupies a very small area ds. And now if you notice, the Gaussian sphere has a radius small letter r and our actual sphere has the radius capital letter R. Remember, Gaussian sphere is an imaginary sphere. It is actually not there. We have imagined that sphere to be there. Now, from Gauss law, I know phi is equal to Q by epsilon naught. Same line. I write it here. Now, this is dot product. You know what is A dot B? AB cos theta. I have taken it as 0 because I don't consider any angle, which you'll come to know later why I don't consider any angle. I don't consider any angle. Cos 0 is 1. Therefore, E ds, E electric field is a constant, I'll take it outside, integration ds. Therefore, let me repeat, I know phi is equal to Q by epsilon naught, that is equal to integration of E ds cos theta, this is cos 0 is 1, E I'll take it outside, therefore E integration ds. Therefore, phi is equal to q by epsilon naught is equal to E integration ds, or phi is equal to q by epsilon naught is equal to E, till here it is as it is. Integration of closed surface is the complete surface of this sphere, and the complete surface of this sphere is 4 pi small letter r, because I am finding this sphere and the radius of this sphere is small letter r. Therefore, here the surface area of this sphere is small letter r. Therefore, 4 pi r square. Therefore, if I just take these two, therefore I can say E is equal to, if I take this over here, I will get 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r square, which anyway you know from our few table. What is the formula of electric field? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r square. But now you know what is the value of q. You have already written it over here. Check. Therefore, let me substitute the value for q. So I will get q as sigma 4 pi capital R square. Therefore, I got one formula from Gauss, and I got one more formula from Gauss. So the first formula for Gauss is in terms of charge, and the second formula for Gauss is in terms of electric field E. Okay, so this completes your derivation for a charged sphere. Our next derivation will be application of Gauss for a cylinder. Now the second application of Gauss that we will study is, you have to find electric field intensity at a point outside a infinitely long straight wire. In the first application we had studied about a sphere. In this application we will study about the wire. Here the diagram is drawn, but let me show you. Let me consider one wire like this. If you look at the board, this is the core of the wire, and let this distance of the wire be capital letter R. You have seen a wire in optics. Now let me consider a point P. I have to find electric intensity at this point due to this wire, and let this point be at a distance capital R from the axis of the wire. Now you know from the previous derivation that to find electric field using Gauss theorem, electric field can be found only of a closed surface. Now again over here, point P becomes an open surface. Therefore, to eliminate any confusion, let me consider point P to be a part of an imaginary cylinder. Point P to be a part of an imaginary cylinder whose length is L. And point P occupies a very small area ds. Now this same diagram in a magnified form is shown here. Okay. Therefore, last derivation we had a sphere and we had a Gaussian sphere. In this we have a wire and we have a Gaussian cylinder, because wire is nothing but a 3D version of a cylinder. Now if you look at this, if I just take the wire will have only length. Wire will have only length because wire is linear. Therefore, in the previous case we had surface of a sphere. Surface of a sphere we had sigma for surface charge density. In wire, since I have only length, I will take lambda. What is lambda? Lambda is linear charge density, and you know linear charge density lambda is Q by L. Linear charge density lambda is Q by L. Therefore, Q will be lambda L. What is lambda? Linear charge density. Now for the derivation we do the same way, 1, 2, 3, 4 steps, same like the previous derivation. If you look at the previous derivation, from Gauss law I know phi is equal to Q by epsilon naught is equal to integration of E ds. E ds cos 0 because it is dot product. Cos will go out, E integration ds. Over there, in sphere, the closed area was a sphere, therefore surface area was 4 pi. Now 4 pi r square. Over here, since it is the curved surface of the cylinder, surface area of a cylinder is 2 pi RL. It is 2 pi RL. Now, Q by epsilon naught is E into 2 pi RL. Now, instead of Q, I will write lambda L because Q is equal to lambda L. Therefore, instead of Q, I will write lambda L by epsilon naught is equal to E into 2 pi RL. Therefore, E is equal to lambda by 2 pi epsilon naught r. This is my final answer for electric field at a point next to an infinitely long wire. Now using this formula, we had done in the first session, example 8.2, first part, where we found only lambda, linear charge density. Over here, if you look at the second part of the problem of example 8.2, electrostatics, we have done part A. Now part B is to find electric field of that wire. Now if you look at the formula, electric field is same, lambda by 2 pi epsilon naught r. Now in the question, r was given, and in part A we found out lambda. Therefore lambda we found as 1.5 into 10 power minus 6, 2 pi constant, epsilon naught is 8.8 into 10 power minus 12, r was given as 1.5. Therefore we got the answer as almost 1.8, and then it is Newton per Coulomb. Therefore if you notice, the derivation of sphere and the derivation of cylinder both are very similar. The only difference lies in the surface area. Surface area over there was 4 pi r square, over here it is 2 pi rl, and over there we used sigma, surface charge density. Surface charge density because it was a surface of a sphere. Since it is a wire of length L, over here we use lambda. Therefore if you look at the formula for E for a sphere, we will get answer in sigma, the second answer. And if you look at electric field at a point because of wire, we'll get answer in lambda. E is equal to lambda by 2 pi epsilon naught r. Therefore we completed two applications of Gauss. One is electric field at a point outside a sphere. Second one is electric field at a point next to a wire. Now let us go to the next application of Gauss. Now the third and last application of Gauss theorem is to find electric field at a point outside a plane sheet, infinitely long plane sheet. There are diagrams, there are derivations in the textbook, but this is a very small topic and I'll give it to you in a very easy way. You'll understand it much better, and it comes for hardly 2 marks, but you should know the final result for electric field due to a charged sheet. Now let me, without any diagram, just try to understand. This equation we start with. Same thing with Gauss theorem. Remember, all three derivations are started with the same way. Q by epsilon naught is equal to integration of E ds. Now if you notice this, epsilon naught as it is, E integration ds as it is, instead of Q, since a sheet also has a surface, I take sigma A, because sigma is charge upon area, therefore charge is sigma into area. Now what is area? Area is nothing but the integration of all small area. Therefore area can be written as integration of all small area ds. In other words, please look here. Area is nothing but integration of all small area will give me total area. Therefore see here, the first step I substituted Q as sigma A. Now I can write area as integration of all the small area. If you look at the right hand side does not change. Now since I am taking a plane sheet, now please remember, sheet has two sides. Therefore I will get two fields, one field on this side, one field on the reverse side. Please remember, a sheet has two sides, therefore two electric field will be developed. Therefore instead of E, I will have 2E because it has two sides, one this side, one on the other side. Now integration ds will cancel. Therefore, I am left with sigma by epsilon naught is equal to 2E. Therefore, E is equal to sigma by 2 epsilon naught. This is my answer for electric field for a infinitely long sheet at a point. Now, diagram is not important. Derivation 1 mark. Please remember this. You should remember this formula. Area is nothing but integration of all the small area. A is equal to integration ds, that is integration of all small area is complete area. Therefore this is the formula for a plane sheet. With that, if you look at example 8.3 page 188 in your textbook, if you look at example 8.3 page 188, let us start. They have given charge per unit area, that is, you know, it is sigma. They have given sigma. I have to find electric field because of the word sheet is given. It's a very easy question. I directly use the formula E is equal to sigma by 2 epsilon naught. Therefore, E is equal to sigma is given in the question. 2 epsilon naught is 8.85 into 10 power minus 12. Therefore, E is equal to 1.7 into 10 power 5. It's an easy calculation, but you should remember this formula for a sheet, that is sigma by 2 epsilon naught. So this completes the 3 applications of Gauss. One is a sphere, one is a wire, and third one is a sheet. So this is the topic. Please remember all 3 formulae, and you have done problems also.